Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us quickly start the bulletin with the headlines. Vijay Mallya resigns from seat in Rajya Sabha. In letter to chairman says he does not want his name and reputation to be dragged in mud further. Resignation a day ahead of ethics committee's meet to decide his fate. India asserts that Italy is misrepresenting UN Arbitration Court's order on Italian Marines. Says Marines can be allowed to go to Italy only on conditions set by the Supreme Court and under authority of India's Apex Court. Former Air Chief S.P. Tyagi to be questioned again in connection with the Augusta Westland chopper deal today. He was questioned for 10 hours on Monday. Forest fire in Uttarakhand brought under control. Environment Minister says 4 people arrested for igniting fire. Police constable engaged in dousing fire killed after being hit by boulder. And final day of campaigning for 6th and the final phase of elections in West Bengal. 25 constituencies to go on polls on 5th of May. Well, the big story this morning, Vijay Mallya has resigned from his seat in the Rajya Sabha. His resignation comes just a day before the Ethics Committee was to meet, where action was to be initiated against him. Now, in a letter to the chairman of Rajya Sabha, Mallya said that he does not intend his name and reputation to be further dragged into mud.
One day before the Ethics Committee of the Rajya Sabha was set to recommend his expulsion, independent MP and liquor baron Vijay Mallya resigned.
एथिक्स कमेटी की बैठक में आम सहमति से उनकी मेमोरी लेने का तय हो गया था और उनको नोटिस दिया गया था, क्योंकि नेचुरल जस्टिस होना चाहिए। वो जानते थे कि कल की मीटिंग में उनका निपटारा हो जाएगा, उनकी मेमोरी ले ली जाएगी, तो उन्हें चालाकी से इस्तीफा दे दिया। यही है इस पे।
In his letter to Rajya Sabha chairman Mohammad Hamid Ansari, Vijay Mallya said, and I quote, "I am hereby resigning as a member of the Rajya Sabha with immediate effect. I do not wish my name and reputation to be further dragged in the mud. Recent events suggest that I will not get a fair trial or justice."
जो विजय माल्या ने जो इस्तीफा दे दिया है, तो कोई भी इस्तीफा तो दे सकते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी वो जिस प्रकार से हमारा वो देश को एक धोखा के रूप में उन्होंने जो 10,000 करोड़ का वो लोन लिया, उसको तो लौटाना चाहिए। तो उसके जो ऊपर जो कार्रवाई है, वो तो कार्रवाई तो चलना चाहिए।
Mallya also wrote that he had separately replied to Ethics Committee Chairman Karan Singh. In the letter, Mallya claimed that the allegations against him were blatantly false and baseless. He also claimed that the Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance, Government of India has provided factually wrong information to the Parliament Committee.
What is more important is the debts and the debts of individuals, company, banks, which have to be sorted out. And if there is any criminal investigation, he should cooperate in that.
Mallya faces a loan default of over 9,400 crore rupees. An independent MP elected for the second time, Mallya had less than 2 months left of his 6-year term.
इस्तीफा दे रहे हैं तो शायद उनको सच्चाई नजर आ गई होगी, इसीलिए पहले ही इस्तीफा दे दिया है। लेकिन जो उनके खिलाफ मामला है, इससे और इस्तीफा देने से कोई संपर्क, कोई रिलेशनशिप नहीं है और वो मामला चलता रहेगा।
Ethics Committee has concluded that his conduct is not of an elected member of Parliament, and he is being alleged as a defaulter, and that is why Ethics Committee has come to this conclusion. Whether he resigns or doesn't resign, it doesn't matter. Whatever the Ethics Committee has decided, that will stand.
The government had earlier revoked Mallya's passport. He left for Britain in March after attending the first part of the budget session for a few days. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now to the other big story. Now, India has said that the order of the UN Permanent Court of Arbitration on the Italian Marines case is in its favour. Now, this after Italy said that its Marine Galvatore Guillorn, charged with murder and on bail in India, will be allowed to return to Italy pending arbitration procedures. Now, India has said that the order has placed the Marine under the authority of the Supreme Court of India.
New Delhi saying Italy is misrepresenting the order of the UN Arbitration Tribunal in the Marines case. The UN's Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague has allowed Salvatore Gironi, one of the two Marines held in India on murder charges, to return home pending arbitration proceedings.
In its order today, the Arbitral Tribunal unanimously prescribed that India and Italy would approach the Supreme Court of India for relaxation of bail conditions of Sergeant Gironi. While remaining under the authority of the Supreme Court of India, he may return to Italy for the duration of the present arbitration. The tribunal confirmed Italy's obligation to return him to India in case it was found that India had jurisdiction over him in respect of the incident.
Italy in March had asked the Permanent Court of Arbitration judges to order India to release its detained Marine Gironi. Italy argued that otherwise he risks 4 more years in India without any charges being made, which would amount to grave violation of his human rights. India has asserted the authority of the Supreme Court in deciding bail conditions for the Marine.
The tribunal left it to the Supreme Court of India to fix the precise conditions of Sergeant Gironi's bail. It has also noted that while Sergeant Gironi may return to Italy during the present arbitration, during all this period, he would remain under the authority of the Supreme Court of India.
The UN court is hearing oral arguments by the two sides after India and Italy agreed to arbitration.
Let me also emphasize that the tribunal placed on record undertakings given by Italy in regard to Sergeant Gironi's return to India. It noted that these undertakings constitute an obligation binding upon Italy under international law. It has also confirmed that Italy is under an obligation to return Sergeant Gironi to India if the tribunal finds that India has jurisdiction over him.
The government says the PCA order is a recognition of its key arguments in the case.
Government is studying the order which was received only today. It would, in due course, approach the Honourable Supreme Court for its directions on this matter. We believe that the government's consistent positions and key arguments in this particular case have been recognized by the tribunal.
The two Italian Marines, Massimiliano Latorre and Salvatore Gironi, are facing charges of murdering 2 fishermen in 2012 off the Kerala coast. Latorre is back in Italy after a stroke in 2014, while Gironi is staying in the Italian embassy in New Delhi. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the CBI will continue questioning former Air Chief SP Tyagi today as well in connection with its probe into the bribery charges in the Augusta Westland VVIP chopper deal. On Monday, he appeared before the investigating officials for a fresh round of questioning, which comes in the wake of the Milan court order indicating massive corruption in the deal. Now, Tyagi's name figures in the Italian court order multiple times.
Faced with allegations of corruption in the 3,600 crore rupee Augusta Westland VVIP chopper deal, former Air Chief SP Tyagi arrived for questioning at the CBI headquarters in New Delhi on Monday. The investigating agency called him to examine his role in the multi-crore VVIP chopper deal amid reports that he had met Augusta Westland middlemen 7 times between 2004 and 2007. The CBI is also trying to get details from Tyagi on who exactly received the alleged kickbacks to influence the contract for a dozen VVIP choppers. The Milan Court of Appeals, which is the equivalent of an Indian High Court, has already given details of how alleged bribes were paid by helicopter maker Finmeccanica and Augusta Westland to Indian officials through middlemen to clinch the deal. The order does also mention SP Tyagi's name at several points. The CBI has registered a case against Tyagi and 13 others, including his cousins as well as European middlemen. Pressure is now mounting on the government to extract the truth at the earliest.
If any truth is to be arrived at by our agencies, they will have to question Tyagi ji. And Tyagi would be given an opportunity to explain each and every circumstance that may appear against him.
CBI, ED अपना काम निर्भयता पूर्वक करे और जो तथ्य हैं वो देश के सामने आए, इस पर किसी को कोई ऐतराज नहीं है।
इसका आप लोग इसमें ध्यान दो और रिजल्ट पे आ जाए और बता दें। त्यागी को करना ही पड़ेगा क्योंकि वो तो चीफ था उस टाइम पे, तो करे।
The allegation against SP Tyagi is that he had reduced flying ceiling of the helicopter from 6,000 meters to 4,500 meters so that Augusta Westland could be included in the bids. He, however, denies the allegations and claims the decision to reduce the ceiling was taken by a group of senior officials in the then government. Tyagi had earlier been questioned back in 2013, but a fresh round of examination is the first after the Italian court order. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
News from Uttarakhand now, and Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that the forest fires there have been brought under control. Now, this comes as 4 people have been arrested for igniting the fire in Pori. Javadekar said that not a single inch of forest land would be allowed to be encroached upon or diverted for other use by anybody. Meanwhile, a police constable engaged in firefighting operations was killed after being hit by a boulder.
The raging fire that engulfed the forest of Uttarakhand is under control now, but a thick haze of grey smoke continues to envelop a huge area. Pauri, Nainital, Rudraprayag and Tihri are among the worst hit districts. The centre has assured full cooperation to tackle the crisis.
हमारे पास पूरा डॉक्यूमेंट्स है, सैटेलाइट इमेज से भी हमने पूरा इफेक्टेड एरिया का जांच लिया, टीम भी भेजा हुआ है, टीम लगे हुए हैं। जो टोटल 13 जिले में प्रभावित हुआ है वो आग स्प्रेड अभी नहीं हो रहे हैं, वो उसको कब्जा में और वहाँ पूरा अच्छी तरह से उसको कंट्रोल किया गया है, ऐसा रिपोर्ट आया है।
हम जो है ऐसी योजना बनाए कि इस समय तो आग नए क्षेत्रों में न फैले और दूसरा जो है दूसरी बार उन क्षेत्रों में फिर आग न लगे।
Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar has hinted the fire could have been a man-made disaster. He also said 4 people have been arrested in connection with the case.
4 लोग भी पकड़े हैं कल पौड़ी में कि जो आग लगाते हुए पाए गए, उनको भी पकड़ा है। तो ये ऐसा अगर कोई प्रयास करता है तो उसका पूरी जांच होगी और ये एक्शन हम सख्ती से लेंगे।
Thousands of firefighters have been battling round the clock to control the blaze. The Indian Air Force Mi-17 helicopters fitted with water tanks also sprayed gallons of waters to bring the blaze under control.
Yesterday we had done some operations in the afternoon till evening, and right now today again we have come in the early morning from 6:30 onwards. We are ready. The aircrafts are ready, and we are waiting for the weather to clear up. As soon as the weather clear up, we'll take off, start carrying operation in the region of Srinagar, which is a part of Uttarakhand, and we'll try to dose the fire as early as possible.
The situation in Uttarakhand may be under control, but it is slowly spreading to Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir. The fires in Uttarakhand have been burning for nearly 3 months, destroying close to 3,000 acres of forest cover so far. 7 persons have also been killed. Although the Met Department raised some hope of relief soon, predicting rain in the state in the next 24 to 48 hours. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari has condoled the loss of lives and environmental damage due to forest fires in Uttarakhand. Vice President said, and I quote him, "I am saddened to hear the tragic loss of life and property caused by massive forest fires in parts of Uttarakhand. The fires have also resulted in environmental damage. Relief and rescue operations are presently underway, and every effort should be made to control the fires and render all possible aid to the injured and the bereaved families. My prayers and thoughts are with the people of Uttarakhand. I join the people of the country in conveying my heartfelt condolences to the families of the deceased and wish speedy recovery to the injured persons," quote unquote. On to some political news from the state, and Supreme Court is scheduled to hear centre's plea over Uttarakhand government formation row today. Now, the centre is expected to bring answers to the 7 questions asked by the apex court in the last hearing on 28th of April. The bench will further hear the centre's appeal against the Uttarakhand High Court's order, which revived the Harish Rawat government. The Supreme Court said that the Uttarakhand will continue to be under President's rule till today, while indicating that it would examine whether central rule could be imposed just because the appropriation bill was passed in an allegedly irregular manner. Moving on in the bulletin now, the Supreme Court has stepped into the long-standing Sabrimala row over the centuries-old practice of banning the entry of women between the age group of 10 to 50 years to the temple in Kerala. Now, a bench of 3 judges asked in the court. The question is, should there be such a religious practice which creates a dent on the concept of gender equality? You must have some kind of cosmopolitan belief which treats denominations of the same faith equally, quote unquote. Apex Court came down heavily on the Travancore board after its advocate K.K. Venugopal said that judiciary cannot question faith and belief. Now, court reiterated that gender differentiation will have to withstand constitutional scrutiny. However, Venugopal said that a judicial intervention would cause injustice to the age-old faith and belief and would adversely affect religious institutions of all faiths. Meanwhile, with numerous pleas and various reactions over the matter, the hearing will resume again on 6th of May. Well, time now to slip into a very short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries on Rajya Sabha television.
Under some election news, and campaigning for the 6th and the final phase of West Bengal Assembly polls will come to an end today. Now, 25 Assembly constituencies from Cooch Behar and East Midnapore will go to polls on 5th of May. Over 81% electorate had exercised their franchise in the 5th phase of the elections. At least 15 crorepathies are in the fray for the 6th phase, while 33 candidates have declared criminal cases against themselves. The counting of the votes will be held on 19th of May. News from Kerala, where a full team of the Election Commission headed by Chief Election Commissioner Naseem Zaidi undertook a final review of the election preparation ahead of the assembly polls in the state. Around 26 million voters will exercise their voting rights on 16th of May. All vulnerable and critical polling booths will be covered by webcasting and micro-observers. One observer per constituency will be deployed in sensitive assembly constituencies. Around 800 model polling stations will be set up in the state, and 250 all-women polling booths will be arranged to ensure women's safety. Now, polling officials too will be under radar to ensure fair voting. Now, the Commission took note of the concerns and suggestions of the political parties and assured them that the Commission will take effective measures to ensure free, fair and peaceful polling. Other than Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry will also go to polls in the month of May. The results for the polls will be announced on 19th of May.
In addition to Central Police Forces at vulnerable and critical polling stations, webcasting will be arranged at all vulnerable and critical polling stations where internet connectivity is available, and where internet connectivity is not available, static video cameras and micro-observers who are central government employees will be stationed.
Now, news from Tamil Nadu, where Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha and DMK President M. Karunanidhi are among over 3,800 candidates who will contest the 16th of May Assembly polls. More than 300 candidates have withdrawn their nominations, leaving more than 3,400 men, about 320 women and 2/3 gender candidates to fight the elections. Now, besides the AIADMK and the DMK Supremos, the names of DMK Chief Vijay-Kant and Anumani Ramadas have also been cleared for the elections. In a multi-cornered fight, AIADMK is facing the polls virtually by itself by contesting from 227 seats, with the smaller allies being allotted 7 constituencies. Now, while DMK has aligned with Congress after a 3-year break, DMDK has joined hands with MDMK, founder Vaiko-led People's Welfare Front and G.K. Vasan's TMC. And in Puducherry, a total of 344 candidates, including 97 independents, are in the fray for the 16th of May elections to the 30-member Union Territory Assembly of Puducherry. 22 candidates withdrew their nominations on the last day, of which 3 candidates were from PMK and the rest were independent candidates. Now, prominent among the candidates are Chief Minister N. Rangasamy, Opposition Leader V. Venkathalingam and P. Kannan, who recently quit the Congress. Now, the other segment reportedly has the maximum number of 17 candidates, while the Karaikal has the minimum of 8 candidates. 272 candidates will be contesting from 23 constituencies in Puducherry. 51 candidates will contest in Karaikal, 10 in Mahe and 11 in Yanam regions. The voter strength in the Union Territory is above 9 lakh. On to some international news now, and with the Syrian ceasefire fraying amid airstrikes in Aleppo, Russian Minister Sergei Lavrov is scheduled to meet United Nations envoy Staffan de Mistura in Moscow today. Now, the talks come at another tense moment. The United States and its partners have accused Russia of not fulfilling its part in the peace process in Syria by failing to rein in Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Now, the US has also accused Assad, the longtime Russian ally, of breaking the terms of the ceasefire announced by Moscow and Washington in the month of February. Now, the Kremlin argued over the weekend that Assad's airstrikes were targeting militant groups, but has since softened its tone ahead of Tuesday's talks. US Secretary of State John Kerry met with Saudi Foreign Minister and also on Monday to discuss how to reduce violence in and around Aleppo. De Mistura stressed that the UN-brokered peace talks can proceed smoothly only when all parties halt fighting, adding that he will travel to Moscow on Tuesday and hold talks with the Russian foreign minister on the issue.
Russia and the United States have agreed that there will be additional personnel who will work from here in Geneva on a daily basis, 24/7, in order to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in order to try to make sure that there is a better job and a better ability to be able to enforce the cessation of hostilities day to day.
Preparing for a much better mechanism for monitoring and controlling a new ceasefire, reinvigorated. But we need political will for that.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
And it is going to be a crucial day for US presidential hopefuls as the Indiana voters cast a record number of ballots ahead of the primary today. Now, the state is in a national spotlight because of the spirited Republican and Democratic presidential races. Republican frontrunner Donald Trump said on Monday that he hoped to seal the Republican presidential nomination by winning today's contest in Indiana, where he holds a big lead over chief rival Ted Cruz. Now, Trump has already amassed 996 delegates, and with momentum behind him, he looks increasingly likely to win the nomination outright without a contested convention. Indiana has 57 Republican and 92 Democratic delegates for their party's national conventions this summer. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton has a large lead over Bernie Sanders in the delegate count, but Sanders continues to campaign and compete in primary elections in different states. Now, news from Europe, where the European Commission is to grant Turkey conditional approval this Wednesday for a visa-free travel within the EU's Schengen area. Now, the move is a part of a deal in which Turkey has agreed to take back migrants who have crossed the Aegean to Greece. However, EU has emphasized that Turkey will be informed of the outstanding criteria that it still needs to meet. Under the EU-Turkey agreement, now migrants who have arrived illegally in Greece since 20th of March are to be sent back to Turkey if they do not apply for asylum or if their claim is rejected. Now, for each Syrian migrant returned to Turkey, the EU is to take in another Syrian who has made a legitimate request. Turkish Prime Minister said that its country had fulfilled its part of the agreement and that the issue of a visa waiver for the EU's Schengen area was vital for Turkey. Let's get you some more international news now. Here is the World Wrap. The White House has said that it was weighing a possible first presidential visit to Hiroshima. Barack Obama will visit central Japan in late May for a Group of 7 summit. However, the White House has made it clear that Obama will not apologize for the Second World War decision to destroy the city with an atomic bomb. Last month, the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry had become the highest-ranking U.S. political figure to visit Hiroshima. Norway announced that it would deploy 60 soldiers to train Syrians fighting the Islamic State, boosting its involvement in the international coalition against the jihadists. The soldiers belonging to the Norwegian Special Forces would conduct the training in Jordan. Norway is already involved in the anti-Islamic State coalition, in particular by training Kurdish fighters in the Iraqi Kurdistan region. Members of Turkey's governing AK party and pro-Kurdish politicians traded blows in parliament. The scuffle broke out over plans to strip MPs of their immunity from prosecution. The opposition says the move is aimed at stifling dissent. The Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has called for the members of the pro-Kurdish party to face prosecution, accusing them of being an extension of the banned Kurdistan Workers' Party. A Brazilian judge issued a 72-hour ban on WhatsApp throughout the country on Monday because its owner, Facebook, failed to hand over information requested in a drug trafficking case. A flurry of angry commentary immediately broke out online. Now, this is the latest standoff between the Brazilian authorities and Facebook, which has said that it has no technical means for cooperating with such requests. WhatsApp was previously suspended in Brazil in December over another case. And on to sporting news, big story coming in from the English Premier League, and Leicester City supporters erupted into cheers when their team's Premier League title dream became a reality. Their only remaining challengers, Tottenham Hotspur, drew 2-2 at Chelsea, handing the underdogs the trophy in one of the greatest sporting achievements of the modern times. Now, unfashionable Leicester 5,001 outsiders at the start of the season are English champions for the first time and have become the first team to win a maiden English title since Nottingham Forest in 1977-78, having left the likes of Manchester City and Manchester United and Chelsea and Arsenal in their wake. Incredibly, Leicester spent half of the season at the bottom of the league before a late surge saw them escape into relegation. They began the season among the favourites to go down, but by Christmas they were already unlikely challengers for the title as Chelsea and Manchester City spluttered. Let's get you some more sporting action now. Here is the sports beat. Prince Harry and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau dropped the puck for sledge hockey athletes during the 2017 Invictus Games media launch in Toronto. Prince Harry began the countdown to the 2017 Invictus Game, meeting athletes and trying out some of the events himself during his visit. The Invictus Games are the only international sporting event for injured, active and veteran service members. The Canadian Games are scheduled to begin in September of 2017. Japanese Paralympic athletes took over the high streets of Tokyo as they demonstrated their sporting skills as they sought to raise awareness of the Games ahead of the Rio Summer Games and the Tokyo Summer Games in 2020. Organized by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, the event proved to be an eye-opening experience for some who had not imagined playing basketball in a wheelchair could be difficult. The 2020 Paralympics in Tokyo will be held from 25th of August till 6th of September. Indian shooters began on the opening day of the ISSF Junior World Cup with a good note. They have bagged 3 gold medals and a bronze. The Indians won a gold event in the team events of the men's 25-meter standard pistol and women's 50-meter rifle thrown competition. India also earned an individual gold medal in the men's 25-meter standard pistol competition and also a bronze in the women's 50-meter rifle. The Indian team bagged 1 silver and 2 bronze medals at the Archery World Cup in Shanghai. The silver medal was secured by the Indian women's team. Also, the team thrashed British team 6-0 to the bronze medal. That's all in this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching.